All right, so I'm going to show you how to, once you have your master template, how to mass produce these. Eventually you're going to get a system, but I'm going to show you a system that might be pretty effective. So the first thing you're going to do is with your master template, you do not want any tabs. This will fold up into this. I left the tape on deliberately because I'm going to show you how I take the tape off cleanly. But this is your tab. I'm cheating here because I'm for this demonstration I'm using a printout from the website. It's already a predetermined template, and I just enlarged it a little bit. But the reason I have this template here is because it shows that where the tabs are, and so I don't have to draw one or remake one with tabs. I have a design here. That's all I need to know, and I have my master template without tabs. So what I'm going to do is I have this one side that has a tab on, and then around here gets tabs. So I have to make sure there's room left for that. But what I do is I just trace, and I can get 4 of these if I strategically place these around here. I can get 4 per sheet. If you think about it, you have 20 sheets, 4 per sheet. That's 4 times 20. That's 80 pieces out of one. If there's 20 sheets. So what I'm going to do first is just actually, I think I'm going to do this first. What can you see? Yeah, I think you can see that better. So if I were to trace this, I'm going to line up this side here with the edge of the paper. That way I don't have to cut that. That's one less cut I have to make, which I'm happy about because I do a lot of cuts and it gets tiring. Once I establish that, I'm going to push down. Do not let this slide. I have a sharp 4H pencil. And the reason why I want to use a 4H pencil is because it's a light line. And to be honest, you don't even have to erase afterwards. You can't even see the line here. I did not erase because I scored right on the line, and the shadow of the score line actually looks like a pencil line. You can't even tell. So you don't have to erase. So that's one step you don't have to worry about. If you use a soft pencil, you're going to have to erase. Soft pencil meaning a B. So I traced around the shape. It kind of looks like this odd shape. So I can put that over there for the moment. Next thing I'm going to do is wherever there is a meeting point, we see where these 2 lines meet here, 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 here. That's where a line runs across. So this is the point. I'm just going to put this in the same orientation right here. This point is right here. So all I have to do is put this is a really good trick. I'm going to put my pencil right on the corner. I'm going to gently run my ruler over to the pencil where it stops. The pencil lead stops the ruler in its tracks. And then I can angle and guide it right to that point, which is right here. I'm trying to find it. And I can go right there. Oops. And then all I got to do is just run it. And you do that real quickly. And remember, these are going to be your score lines. So you want to make sure that you score in the right area. All right, so basically that's done. See how fast that was? And now I have to put my tabs on. Super easy with the tabs using this. What I do is I go 2 spaces over, is basically 1/4 inch, and there's tabs around the square part, and there's 1 tab here. So I'll just put the 1 tab here on pretty quickly. So what I'm doing is I'm overlapping that red line with the line I just drew, and then it just makes a line parallel to it, 1/4 inch out. So you're not really measuring, you're just kind of overlapping something. Now you have to remember that since this folds into a point, I have to cut off more of an angle here, because when you fold it in, you don't want that paper to get in the way of that point. And right now I'm putting on the angled cuts. So I'm going to go all the way around. And again, I'm overlapping that line, and it just makes a parallel line. And now I can put my score cuts in. And once you do this 20 times, things get a lot easier. Remember, these aren't a certain degree. As long as they're there, it will fold. So now I'm ready to score and cut. Now with scoring, depending on your ruler, if you have a corkback ruler like this one, it's a super thin profile here. I like to use this, and I like to use it upside down. A lot of people say, well, that defeats the purpose. The reason why it's a cork, because it prevents it from moving, because it has friction. I don't like the shadow that it creates. So if you have a light source coming down and you're trying to score right on a line, I don't want that shadow to interfere with the graphite line because it almost looks dissimilar. And especially my eyes are starting to get a little tired, and I need every benefit I can get here. So this helps me if I turn this upside down. And when I'm scoring, I'm lightly scoring twice. Don't score through it where you cut the paper, because you don't want to cut the paper. If you do cut the paper, it's not the end of the world. You can tape the underside of it. I mean, if you have to, you can tape it with this, but if you have white artist tape, it's the same color as the paper, and you can get away with that. As long as it's the inside that you're taping. That way you don't have to cut a whole nother one and draw a whole nother one out, because I know that this is very time consuming. So I put my score cut in. I'm just gonna cut this because it's right here. I have my long ruler, I'm gonna use it. I put my score cut in, and now I have to put my little score cuts in. Now this little 6-inch ruler is great for doing the rest of the work. It's fast, you can move it or turn it. This is like a propeller to an airplane, it's huge. It's only good for long cuts, that's why I was using it there. So use the right tool for the job. And I can't stress enough, just don't rush this. Make sure you line it up. I did not do a good job there. I could see my score line was a little bit to the left of the pencil line. And as I was telling you to take your time and line things up, I did the exact opposite. I'm gonna do it one more time. I think it was okay, but we'll see how that works out. So now everything is scored. Now I can start to cut the perimeter of this form. And do not get confused with what the perimeter is and a score line. Don't make a mental error, because it takes some bit of time to get to this part, and then you quickly realize you made a mistake and you got to start over, and that sucks, to put it bluntly. All right, I'm trying to do this quickly for the sake of the video. If you notice when I'm cutting, I'm turning the paper and I'm not turning my body, and I'm constantly keeping my fingers out of the way. I'm also standing. I'm going to turn it this way so I can cut here toward me. I'm also standing so I can look down. If you're sitting, you don't have a great viewpoint, especially if you have a high table. So I recommend standing, even though it is, after standing for a long time, it's tiring, but you're going to get a better result. So I'm constantly turning this. And again, see where the corner is? You don't want to cut off part of the corner. I hate when it sticks to my hand. you don't want to cut off part of the corner, so just make sure you're cutting in the right spot. There you go. This little guy I'm going to use later because I'm going to help. This is going to help me spread the glue around. It's just a piece of paper that's left around, and then I'll use this to put the dirty glue on. I'll explain that in a second. So after this, then what you're going to do is you're going to fold your score lines. Should have did a better job scoring. There we go. And I can't remind you enough to score or to fold away from the score line. I could have scored this a little bit more. I guess didn't want to cut through it because I was talking about it and I jinxed myself. All right. So I'm basically just bending everything the way I want it to. All right. So it's all going to come together like this, and it's going to look like that when I'm done. But in order to glue this together, it's hard. You might want to say, well, which one do I do first? That's what you're going to have to kind of figure out with the first few of these that you make. But the system that I started to figure out here was it's best if I do this one first, this one second, and then these two at the same time. I'm going to show you my system. So the first thing I do is I just get a bunch of tape about this big, maybe like an inch or so, and I just put about 10 pieces or so down here at the bottom, and it just helps me work fast. All right. After that, you want to get your glue, make sure it's clean, ready to go. And before that, what I'm going to do, because I'm going to tape this side first, the side without the tab, I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape on. So when I do glue and I put it down, all I have to do is fold the tape all over, and it's really quick. I can move on to the next one. And I can do this in about 2 minutes, if that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a light bead. You can see how light that bead is. It's a little heavy on that one side of glue, and I'm going to get this piece of paper and I'm just going to smear it out. But I'm trying not to smear anywhere near this side because you don't want glue to come on the other side. Some glue is still here. That's why I put the tape there. I don't want to get any glue on my cutting mat because it dries. And then when you try to cut flat things on it, it becomes very difficult. All right, so I'm lined up, and now I'm going to fold my tape. All right, let's do the next one. Tape the paper. Give yourself a nice, not a nice bead, a light bead. Spread it around. Try to get all the way to the corner. And if it doesn't want to bend, instead of getting your finger in there, because your finger's going to get glue on it, you're going to touch your finger somewhere else on this, you can get the point of this and just kind of push in. It'll push in a little bit enough. Maybe wipe it off if any glue is on there. And it folds just enough. Oh boy, I had a little too much glue on that one. Don't need tons of glue, just a little bit. You can see it's folding already, see? All right, now I have these two, so I said I was gonna do these two at the same time, so I have those two there. And then I'm going to put a piece of tape here and a piece of tape here. I'm not gonna do the rest of it yet because it's hard to fold in, and I'll explain that in a minute, but right now I'm just gonna put a bead of glue, just a little bit of glue. All right, when you're done with your glue, make sure to put this little cap back on, and so it stays nice and liquidy for the next time you use it. All right, I think I'm good there, and now I can just spread this out here. A nice thing about this little piece of paper I'm using, I just toss it away when I'm done this one form. Get over there, you little son of a gun. And then because there's plenty of paper, you're gonna have plenty of scraps. It's not a big deal. So now I'm just trying to push this in push this. This is where it gets kind of tricky. Once it lines up, I'm going to put the tape, fold the tape down. Once this lines up here, I'm going to fold the tape down. Once this lines up here, fold the tape down. Now, I made 20 of these already. I have my system down. The first 3 or 4 of them aren't as good. It just took me a while to kind of figure out. That's not something I'm very proud of, but what I'm going to do is try to fold and work that if I can. Maybe I can just kind of squeeze that top in there. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, now it's not as noticeable, and then I can just try to squeeze it shut with the tape and let it dry. So I just let that dry for a little bit. This is the one that is already dry, like a cooking show. I have a finished pot roast in the oven ready to be served. So all I'm doing now is taking this off. And when I take this off, instead of using your fingernails, because your hands are getting a little, they might, because you're using glue, they might pick up some dirt from surfaces. And you want to keep your paper clean. You don't want to go back and have to clean it up. Just really be aware and conscious. But what I do is I'll run this underneath, not into the paper, just underneath like a fingernail, and then I'll put my finger. I'll just pull right up. Just to get it going, just enough to get it going. Don't rush through it, because you don't want to go back and clean this up and sand it and all that stuff. And there we go. We have a nice little form, and we can add it to our other unit forms and see what we can do with that. Cool. Oh, I like that. I think I'm going to try that out. This is another part of the project that we're not getting to yet. I just want you to make sure that you have your unit, your forms clean and perfect. Sorry, I don't know why I'm forcing you to watch this. Okay, yay. All right, any questions? Let me know.